So you have a sales meeting coming up and you need to know how to prepare yourself because you don't want to screw it up and you're nervous. You don't want to feel like you have to pitch someone or convince them that you're worth it. You want them to know that you're worth it. And so in those moments, it's important to prepare yourself for these sales meetings the right way. And I know what it's like. I've been there. Businesses, we need clients. We need money coming in, and it's a nervous place because we don't want to screw those situations up. They're very important. We don't want to undervalue. We don't want to be negotiated down on our price point. So I want to share 9 steps with you that you can use to prepare for your next sales meeting. I went over these at a live event with some of our Next Level Creators clients where we've helped people go from charging $500 to $10,000 like that because they were able to prepare themselves and get themselves into the right empowered value-based state and diagnose where people are coming from in their conversations to turn them into great clients. So you're going to learn how to do the exact same thing here today. You'll see the basic framework here that I had when I was first putting this together. Then I iterated it, and I iterated it, and I iterated it, and I kind of made it perfect in my, it's not perfect, but it's as good as I could possibly get it, where my conversion rate could be roughly 40 to 50% in a sales meeting with a commercial campaign client. So that's where I was with it. I expect everyone to be able to use this and convert at roughly 15 to 20% right out of the gate with this. So that's everyone here. When you're doing your numbers, like 30 actual meetings, 15 to 20% is what I would expect. So that means 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 people, okay? So that shows us we need some volume coming through this funnel, but when you have that volume and we have a message that's working for us, this is gonna work. So how this works is basically, I want to get some variations and some questions and some feedback as we go through this. So feel free to just kind of interject and raise your hand as we go through. But the most important thing here is kind of how we're approaching this meeting, less what words we're saying. And I found this from training salespeople that it's less the words that are on here, but more the understanding of why we're asking them that really matters. Okay? So in the beginning, to prepare for the call, basically we want to be in a really quiet location. You want to review their survey answers. So that's if someone's coming from an inbound lead. If it's an outbound lead, you're not going to have their survey answers, but you'll likely have had some interaction with them and had some time to do some research on them. So that would be what you're kind of reviewing, is your research on them. Oh, they've got 5 employees listed on their website, so they're probably around this revenue. We kind of know a little bit about their business model. I looked at Google Keyword Planner if I'm planning to go and use Google AdWords to see what our average cost per click would be. Right? You're just getting yourself prepared for that meeting and for this scenario for this business. Because it's really smart to kind of visualize the creator's operating system before we even go into this meeting. Does that make sense? Good? Then have something to take notes on. So I always have just a pen and a notepad. That's it. I don't bring the script and nothing like that. I mean, I'm just sitting here with this and this, and my full 100 undivided attention and focus is just on what they're saying. Okay? From there, I always do mine over the phone. I find that that works way better for me personally because, of course, we work with clients that are international, that are all over the world, and we were able to get clients in that manner, so there's no way I was going to travel to people. And I found that video actually kind of distracted people too much because, like, the cat jumps in the back or whatever, and then someone walks through the frame, or people are just kind of looking at you weird because you're trying to take notes, and then there's that lack of focus on their eyes, and you're trying to pay attention, but sometimes you need to take a note on something, and so video kind of messed with that format for us. I would give someone the option to do that, but it's not.
So like a Skype call or something.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I would much rather do over the phone, and that also really helps with the silence portion. Because when you're staring someone in the eyes and you're silent, it just seize up a bit. So it's much easier when you're on the phone and just doing audio. And I know a lot of people who basically run this model that do it that way as well that are very successful with it.
Doing commercial campaigns, like in other words, you're talking to filmmakers about commercial operating system, but if we're talking as a filmmaker about doing film, their
Yeah,
videos.
for selling a commercial
If you're
campaign.
selling our commercial campaigns.
Yeah.
I mean, you find the same, the phone is as
Yeah.
effective, because it
Phone
seems.
is more effective.
Yeah.
More effective.
I mean, it seems for the sales meeting it would be, but ultimately you're gonna meet them because you're gonna be doing their.
You're gonna go and
shooting.
shoot for them, yeah.
But you don't necessarily, like in your model, you don't need to meet people necessarily.
Like, when Drew converted me as a client, it was over the phone in like 30 minutes. And he's, at this point, the Earn the Deal sales model is one of the biggest things that he's been using in his business to figure out what is your current situation, what's your desired situation, what do you need, what do you want, and he just used it right on me, basically, and it worked. I knew what you were doing, by the way. Then, another big thing here is to lose all emotional baggage from your day and be in a calm, focused place. If you wake up and something terrible has happened, right? The dump truck ran over your car, things happen, right? And you could get some crazy thing that's happening. You have a sales meeting 2 hours from now. You have to release that. You're in the present moment, right here, right now, and it's your opportunity, and it's your responsibility, really, to remove all that clutter from your day and just give 100% focus to the person you're talking to. Because that's what it takes to actually cut through and help someone, right? So get present, be ready to dial the phone on the minute that it hits the number, and then dial and start your call. That's pretty much how we prepare for the call. And of course, you can record them, yeah. Now the next big thing is sales principles to remember here is this is that mindset component. And this is far more important than anything you're gonna say. So sales is far more about accurate diagnosis than it is about convincing anyone of anything. It has almost nothing to do with convincing people. It has nothing to do with trying to persuade someone. It has to do with diagnosing what it is, where they are, where they want to be, and if they're serious or committed about getting there. Okay? We're going to talk a lot about commitment, and we're going to talk a lot about how to find out where someone's commitments truly are today. Then, the next thing is even if you don't have a proof of concept, this is a mindset thing. Believe in your capacity to make an impact. Does everyone understand what I mean by that? So that means that even if you don't know exactly how you're going to get this to work, you believe you can figure it out. And if you believe you can figure it out, that means you believe that you can make an impact for this person, you can help them. And if you don't have that belief, there's no way in hell you're gonna get them to buy. That's really, really important. Okay? If you don't believe in your product, your service, they won't believe in it either. Sell yourself before you sell them. Does everyone feel like they're at that stage right now where they are convinced or they are essentially ready? Does anyone have any roadblocks or mind blocks on that? Okay. Then challenge objections hard when you can. So this is one where some people get a little timid about it, and we were talking about it yesterday at dinner with some people. But they were saying, yeah, clients will say, oh, well, you don't have 5 DMOs, so I'm not going to work with you. And you have to challenge that. We have to ask why, right? We have to get to the root of what it is that's stopping them. If someone says, oh, well, we just don't really trust you, and I can say, okay, so you don't trust that basically Google AdWords works? And they'll be like, oh, no, Google AdWords works. And then, you don't trust that a commercial works to convert people? Oh, no, we know that that works. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to do for you. So you trust that it works, right? Well, yeah, I just don't know. And, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. This is how it works. So it has nothing really to do with you. This is the process is what they're buying, and the results are what they're buying. Okay, very important. Once again, being able to challenge objections extremely hard when someone is trying to wiggle their way out of making a commitment to get where they want to go. Extremely important. Then don't let them bullshit themselves or you. I really drill this one home for my team, is if someone says on a call that they want to get from 1 million to 2 million a year, they're relying on word of mouth right now, and business is starting to plateau. And they are saying, I want to get there in the next 12 months. And then you ask them the question, okay, and if you continue the way you are now, will you get there? They say no. And then after you talk to them and say, all right, and they're 100% committed to getting there, and they say yes, and they say, do you trust yourself to convert these leads if we can bring you these leads each and every single month? And they say yes. And do you trust that a commercial campaign would work with Google AdWords and a commercial? And they say yes. And then you tell them how much it costs, and they say no. You have to call them out on it and say, well, then you're not really committed to getting to 2 million a year, because this is how you can do it. I'm sure you just told me that you agree it would work, you think it would work, you're willing to do it, it would work for you because you're converting this way now. But all of a sudden, now that you have the opportunity to get this, you're backing down. So what's going on here? Why? And then why? And then why? And you dig into what that root cause is of their disparity between that $2 million goal they told you and where they are now. Make sense? All right. So we need to call people when they try to bullshit themselves. That is huge. And be authoritative, be raw, honest, and real. That means getting into the weeds with people sometimes. They're going to talk about their life and talk about their family. They're going to talk about how things aren't going the way they want them to. They're going to talk about things are just so great and they don't want them to stop being as great. And they want them just to keep getting better. And you need to be able to work with people in those situations. I mean, sales is a very emotional conversation. Because oftentimes when we really think about what someone's doing, is they're not just buying, I don't even think people are ever buying anything, really. They're just buying a better version of their life. That's always what they're doing. If you're buying a Roomba, you're buying some more time for you and your family. It's a better version of your life, right? So when we think about it that way, you're just buying a future for yourself. And ask questions, then be silent, and then after someone says something, if it makes sense, here's what I say. Got it. Move on to the next question, okay? If they say something and it doesn't make sense, ask a specific question. You know, well, can you tell me, I didn't really understand, can you tell me exactly what this means? Right, because you do have to understand how their business is operating, what they're doing now, so we can help them improve, okay? But then after that, we need to be silent so they can answer, and when we understand it, we want to make sure they know we understand it and just say, got it, right? From there, taking the alpha role and absolutely nothing less. When people come on and try to like bark at me and be really mean and kick me off or like say, oh, just what's the price? I've seen everything, tell me the price. Restate the agenda, right? They do it again, restate the agenda, they do it again. I don't waver in essentially how I'm gonna run this call because I'm not willing to let bad clients into my business. And you have to have that same mentality as well, right? And people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. This is an interesting thing about human psychology. So people will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. If your entire sales pitch is about how great life could be and not about what's going to happen if they don't make a change, then we're missing out on the biggest driver for human beings, which is that pain that's associated with not changing.